Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on before
can
this man
find me.
actually says a swear word, man. All right, so we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Washington Commanders.
Oh
And
my
man,
God.
this game should be pretty cool here too, man. We got Jaden Daniels taking on the Lions. And honestly, this one could be a scary game for the Lions if that defense can't get right, because Jaden Daniels is not afraid to play against anybody right now. And I think that with him moving on, I think that going to kind of put that to bed that he might have won the Rookie of the Year on this one, winning a playoff game moving on. I don't know if they're going to consider this in the stats for going for that moving forward, but I've been a huge Jaden Daniels fan going this whole season. He's impressed the hell out of me, and Detroit's is going to have to play that offense, man. The defense is going to be scary because they're just decimated right now. They did get an extra time off, but Detroit has been resilient pretty much all year with that problems they've had going on. G-Mike, man, what's your thoughts on this one, dude? This is going to be a fun game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun game, man. I just want to see how good Detroit's defense is gonna play with all the injuries that they got. The Commanders, they're a well-oiled machine when it comes to their offense. Their defense is not there, so the Lions are gonna be putting up points, at least probably 30. They'll probably put up 30. But I want to see how the Lions defense is gonna react, and I think they're gonna react well. I got the Lions winning this game, especially at home. They'll probably win by a touchdown field goal, so by like 10 points. But I want to see how that defense is going to react to the Commanders' offense because, like you said, Jaden Daniels is not afraid against anybody right now. And this guy has won the last 6 games under the last possession of the game. So you got to wait till the clock hits 0 for this game to be over. But I said, I think the Lions are going to win by 10 points, and they'll probably, by like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they're going to be up by 10, probably have the ball, and they just run it down from there with that best rushing offense in the league.
Yep, that's honestly the smart thing to do at this point. You got to dominate time of possession against this Washington offense because especially with the fact that your defense has been as depleted as it's been, I am very curious to see how the edge rush is able to contain Jane Daniels. It doesn't seem like really many people have. And again, what do you do with a scrambling quarterback that has a great arm, but that's also great under pressure? Like the bright lights, prime time deficits do not phase this man at all. So, and like you might said, his confidence is probably at an all-time high. So like you gotta, if you're Detroit, Dan Campbell, you gotta find a way to put some oomph in that defense, get some juice in there, and you gotta make sure you gotta be able to contain. If you can contain Daniels and make him beat you as a passer, he's still a tough out for sure, but it's better than letting him run roughshod on your defense, and then you're gonna stack the box, and then he's just gonna beat you over the top. Like you gotta find a way to contain. You gotta have your pass rush get home, and the offense, like G-Mike said, dominate time of possession, run the clock out. You play to your strengths, play away from your weaknesses, and you'll win it. Don't overthink.
Yeah, I do think Detroit's going to win this game too, but I would not be like absolutely shocked if we come back next week and we're talking about that the Commanders pulled off that upset against them, man. Like the Commanders have impressed, and I think the future is extremely bright with that coaching staff. There's been some talks, maybe Cliff Kingsbury. I'm trying to say that one a couple of times fast. Cliff Kingsbury. There's been some talk of possibly some NFL coaching positions, whatever, but I think that he's going to stick around. I think he doesn't really necessarily want that pressure of being the head coach again. He's already been there, done that, and I think it makes more sense. He's having fun, and he wanted to play with this kind of style of quarterback. It's basically Kyler Murray 2.0, 3.0, really. This is what whenever he was in Arizona, this is what he had the envision for, a mobile quarterback that has an arm, that is accurate, that is not afraid of it. It just Kyler Murray was a different story. If I was Cliff Kingsbury, I would hang out. I would stay in Washington for a couple more years because Jaden Daniels is just getting started. This kid is going to be possibly MVP caliber quarterback in maybe the next 2-3 years, something like that. It's going to be hard with the quarterbacks we have right now. And that kid is going to be something special for the next couple of years. I don't think this is the year, but I would not be shocked at all if Washington pulled off the upset. And only reason is just because of how decimated Detroit's defense. If Detroit's defense came in healthy, I don't think this game would be much of a game. But they do have a puncher's chance in this just for the simple fact that Jaden Daniels can run that offense. Terry McLaurin, Scary Terry, is not afraid of anybody either. So they got a great duo. The defense, Washington's defense was horrible to start the season and has came on a lot better in the going weeks, whatever. And Dan Quinn. What's that?
Yeah.
Still bad though. Still bad.
Oh, yeah,
it's not good.
Yeah,
If
they need
you're
to get
Detroit-
they need to get a couple wide receivers in the draft and then definitely fix that. Maybe if they can spend a second round pick on a top flight wide receiver, Terry McLaurin's your guy. But having said that, though, too, that defense is still bad. That's where they need to spend their offseason is getting defensive players. And Dan Quinn's a hell of a defensive coach. I mean, he just seems like that type of guy that can rebuild. Dan Quinn, yeah. I'm sure you guys do in Dallas, especially with what's going on in Dallas right now, too. I mean, you guys had Dan Quinn and could have kept him there, too, if they weren't going to do it. But.
Yeah, really blew
Do it
it.
real quick because you brought up the draft and the Commanders. So I really think the Commanders are going to trade in the draft for a superstar wide receiver to pair up with Terry McLaurin. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go for Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams, interesting. Okay.
They need another receiver. They need another receiver out there.
That's gonna be some fun. We'll definitely get into more of that for sure after the playoffs. We got some more time going on. But yeah, I like that talk. That's Devontae Adams there. That'd be I wouldn't hate that at all. I don't think the NFL fans would either, man.
Yeah, and before we move on as well, like if you're Detroit, obviously we said run the ball because Washington's run defense is
run the ball, awful. The worst rush defense in the damn league.
Yep. But in addition to that, though, their best cornerback, Marshawn Lattimore, like torch him. Like if I'm getting Amon-Ra St. Brown on that matchup and I am torching him left, right, center. Mike Evans made homeboy cry last week. Like I don't know what Amon-Ra is going to do to him. Like you see, he's a psychopath, so he's going to he's going to give him PTSD or something. Like my gosh.
Yeah, man.
Play a lot of zone actually because what the Lions like to do, they like to do a lot of switch around wheels and drag routes. So it's like if you're cutting across the field as a corner trying to keep up with one of the fastest receivers in the league, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's gonna be tough, man. So I think there's gonna be a lot of zone being played.